Victoria's famed Golden City, Ballarat, a part of the national network of ABC television.
So we should be live now. Looks like we are. Just make sure we've got some sound. Yep. Never know with this thing. So we should be live now. Okay, good. Excuse me. I always bolt down some food just before I start these things, don't I? Okay. So we are live. And I can see myself. Rightio. So I've started to recap this Sony. It's a 252D, and that means it doesn't have an amplifier and speakers and all that sort of thing. It's just a plain deck. You can see here where I've changed the motor capacitor. Down here is a 2 microfarad at 400 volts, and these are 1.5 plus 0.5, and you connect the two, you bridge the two together, and there's a common ground on here. So these go very, very bad, very, well, this is 55, 56 years old. So, yeah. These have a hard time with these motors here. But just need to replace it with one of these, and then they work. Well, the motors do anyway. So you have to take all of this off. Don't take the head block off. You can take the whole mechanical part of this off. And under here is the flywheel. Around here are all the other idler wheels, etc. This is the motor here. And as long as there's this isn't too slack or really badly kinked, this will work. All it's doing is driving the rewind here. So it's not actually driving the capstan. The take-up is via an idler wheel here, and these need to be reasonably soft. I mean, you're not going to get them soft, but you don't want them rock hard either. Yeah, so you've got to clean all the grease out of these things. There is a ton of moving parts in here and sliding parts, and you've got to grease it all up. So, and I've done all that. I still have to clean around here, take the reel tables off. To do that, there's just a couple of C-clips in here, and then you can just lift the whole shaft out of it, and then you can clean underneath it. There is a counter belt here, and they're not too critical either. I've got a couple machines where it's really, really slack, and yet the counter still works. You can tell, I'll just bring you right down. Don't know whether you can see the head block in there, but that is absolutely really filthy after one tape. So yeah, you can see all the black stuff that's come off the tape. And all its and these get really filthy dirty very quickly, and you have to clean them off with isopropyl alcohol and cotton buds, and then you need to demagnetize the heads again. Some of the tapes are getting, well, they are really bad. They've been bad for a long time, probably 20-25 years or so at least, some of them. The Ampex tapes from the 1980s, well, mid-70s to mid-90s, are the worst. You have to bake them in an oven, like a dehydrator, for maybe 8 hours or something like that. Then they'll come good for a little while, and then you can get the stuff off of the tape. I've read that once you bake the tape, it's good for a year, but who wants to take the risk? And you can only really bake it once. So I've already started on this recapping, and I've done 5 of them. And they're all bad, all really bad. They're all those mauve Panasonic caps, although they haven't got Panasonic written on them anyway. Matsushita ones, and I think they're equally bad with the Olna ones. Now, I was going to recap this in this stream, but as you can see, the board is in the way and you really can't see down in there, and there's a lot of caps in there, and I've had to, you can see all the caps in there, and I've done quite a few, so it's not going to be very interesting me recapping this. I've had to remove probably 10 wires, 12 wires maybe, just to get the board out, although you can theoretically get in from this side. This great big cable thing is here with all the wires that connects up to the RCA plugs, the heads, you name it. So what I've decided to do is just do this off camera. It's pretty, I mean, I've done the ones along the edge here and they were fairly straightforward. You can get your fingers in there, but as you can see, I can only open it up so much, or maybe a bit further, but I can only open it up so much and get my hand in there to do these caps. So it's not particularly interesting. And also don't have a couple of values like these big ones here. Down here, I think, I don't know what this one is. I can't see it because there's the RCA connectors down here. And yeah, so these are 220 at 50, and I've got 2 of those, but they're different brands and different sizes. So I want them to, and they're in the power supply, so they'll need to be fairly evenly balanced. Okay. Now, what I have decided to do is this Panasonic R-103. There you go, no reflections there. Nice little radio. It's from the early 1960s, or probably around about 64 or something like that. I think it does work, but it's very weak. So we'll get the Sony off the desk or off the bench, or whatever you like to call it. So sorry if you were looking forward to me doing the Sony, but it's just not going to be very interesting to watch. So just get this down. Yeah, all the brakes on this work and everything like that. So it's actually a pretty nice machine, despite the caps being rotten. Yeah, we're going to put this down here. Yeah. Okay. Right. So, news of the week. Earlier in the week, I did a Philips. I can't remember. I don't know which model number it is. It's 132 or something like that. There's quite a few models around that time and variations on them, but there's no model number on the back of the chassis. It's on the back of the radio cabinet, so it's stuck onto the wood, the masonite back of it. And I had two of them. They're sort of the dregs from all those radios I bought the year before last, from two deceased estates. I think I managed to get about 50, 60 radios from there, and I've gone through them and everything like that. So these are probably the last two that I need to do. One of them is not working at all because it's got a burnt out output transformer, and so I worked on, that's a 4-valve one, and the chassis is quite alright on that one. The 5-valve version had a lot more promise. It was making noises and all that sort of thing, and so I recapped it. Then I discovered the oscillator wasn't working, so I changed I pulled the oscillator out of the other one and put it in here, and it was working enough to pick up 3BA, the racing station. Not great, but well enough. I've had worse radios, I've had much better radios. So I stuck the negative of the signal generator on it, and big flash, before I even could connect it properly, a big flash came off of the chassis where I was connecting it, and all the lights went out and everything went out. So I blew the RCD. And when I went out and turned it back on again. And then I measured the earth leakage on it. And there was 14.8 volts or something like that on the chassis. Very unusual. So I'm going to have to investigate that more deeply. And yeah, talk to a couple of people about it. Yeah, very strange. I've never had a... I've had an earth to chassis problem whereby the chassis is live unintentionally, but when I measured it, and I think there might have been 1 or 2 volts on there or something like that, but that's not enough to kill anything out. And then of course the I checked all the transformer and everything like that, and everything was good. I checked all my work, everything was good. So I really don't know where the chassis is getting the 14.8 volts DC. Yes, so that gave me quite a fright when that did that. I haven't tried... I think the signal generator is okay, because the positive had a capacitor on it, as you do, and the positive wasn't connected. I was connect the negative first. Yeah. So this looks sort of interesting. Again, I apologise, I can't bring you any closer. Is there a slot screw there? Down the bottom there. It sure is down there. Very unusual. So I don't know whether we need to take that one out to do anything. Big speaker magnet there. I better find a 9-volt battery, hadn't I? Here's one we prepared earlier. So we'll just try it before we start to disassemble it. I think it works. Yeah, it's not very loud, but I can hear something. Very slight click. Wonder if the battery is okay, being a Duraleak. So we'll just put we're on DC. 8.9 volts. So that should be enough to run it. Thought this one worked, but anyway, we'll see if we can get anything out of it. So it's over 60 years old, which is a bit hard to believe, isn't it, with these little transistor radios? We think of them as being fairly modern thing, but they've been around for 70 years now. So is it going to come out? No. Okay. It's fine enough. Yep. Wow. What a tiny screw for 1964. Where is it? Can't even see that. Come on, focus. There we go. Really tiny screw. So, especially for 1964. Still not coming out. It's probably something there. That right round. Yes, it was before they changed the symbol from the Japanese in a red N to the N in the N, or national in the N. So the glue has let go on that. Very carefully take this out because it's not damaged in any way. I'm going to keep it that way. That is a pretty good dial actually for the age of the radio and the type of radio it is. These weren't sort of teenage throwaway radios. They were very well made and sort of quite expensive at the time. I need to take this off if we possibly can. Yeah. Don't think this has ever been taken apart. Come on. Why won't it turn? These have got no grip on no sort of serrations or anything in there. No wonder. Just slipping straight off. Cheap Bunnings tools. There we go, that's better. Come on. There we go. Come on. Okay. That's better. Very interesting way of holding the speaker in. Have a look there. It's got a brace across it. Across there. Yeah. Interesting. And this doesn't seem all that brittle, this plastic, but still need to be very careful with it. So we'll take this there. Come on. Oh, I see. This isn't going to be easy. Okay, we'll just work with it like this. There's only 4 capacitors in here, so this will be, or maybe 5 or 6 underneath. Yep. Yeah, there's a couple underneath there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And these have never been touched. They're full of wax. This looks very nice. And this is pre-plastic tuning gang. It's got the old metal fins and everything on it. So hopefully everything is good on this, and we can change these capacitors. Right. And of course they're all going to be facing the wrong way, so you won't be able to tell the value of them until they're out. Now this bottom one is going to be the problem. Down here. Now if we get this cardboard out of the way. Good. Now bend this down. And we've got a diode detector down there, by the looks of it. Very small one. It's amazing that they were making such small components back in 1964. Yeah, so it's going to be there and there. This is going to be very awkward to get out. And what is it? So we've got our stripe facing the can. And yeah, it's going to be a pull it out before we can find out what it is job. So it'd be one of these two. It's a 471 capacitor here, but it's got 3 legs. Interesting. I'll try not to burn this wire. Come on. Doesn't want to come out. Is that it? Can't tell whether that is it. It's going to be it. Yeah. So that is one of them. I'll put my cutters. Here we go. That's definitely one of them. I think the other one's in here. Big lump of solder on this. Is that it? I think that's it somehow. What else is it? There's nothing else down there. So I've got one. Oh, it is it. Yep. Right, how are we going to get this out? So our stripe, which is positive on this, goes towards the can. And it is a 30 at 6 volts. 30 at 6 volts. So we'll put in a 33 at 6.3. And we'll fire up the soldering iron again. It's gone to sleep. Yeah. So a 33. At 6. I think 16 is the smallest you can get these days. So these look good enough. Yeah, I think they're Elners or something. Oh no, they're Nichicons. So it's going to be that way around, I think. Put the leads back where they were. And pop some solder on it. Okay. Right. Let's try it again. Yep. Definitely can hear it now. But it's still not very loud. Interesting. What I might do is clean that volume control off. We've got the deoxit. Okay. Now, so we'll do this. Let's clean that part off. Right. So our next one is here, and positive goes towards the volume control or out. And looks like there and there. Come on. Because these are folded over, it doesn't suck the solder out of the from underneath it. You can't get the... That's better. It's probably over here. Somewhere. Another big blob of solder here. Yeah, that's it. Right. Oh, I know what I could have done. I have a clock radio. It's one of those 1970s copal flip clocks. And it's not a particularly good brand, but the copal clock in it is quite good. But it's only running a little bit. We left it on a Sunday afternoon after I got it, and 3 hours, and it went from 12 o'clock to 12:09. So I'd say there's some dead capacitors and very dried up grease in there. So come on, that's it. And close my eyes and look away, and it should come out now. Yep, and it is a 10 at 6 volts. So it'll be a 10 at 6.3, and where did I put those ones? 10 at 25. No, that's what I added the tape recorder. 10 at 6.3. Ah, 10 at 15, or 16 I should say. I think that's about as small as we get. Here's 10 at 6.3. Yeah, 10 at 6.3. And these are about as small as you can get. Now, it was positive facing out towards the volume control, wasn't it? positive facing out. So negative is going to be in. Wrong hole. They were able to make small components back then, but they must have been awfully expensive. Just wondering if that was connected up there. It's the problem with tiny radios and the solder sucker, or the vacuum thing. Vacuum pump, that's what I'm looking for. Yep. So yesterday I went down to Melbourne and went to a place called Airport West, and there's an electronics shop there. And I bought another set of clippers, or the side cutters, which I haven't started using yet because these are okay at the moment. So I've got 2 sets, and I said, then Springvale only had 1 set, and I picked up a new catalogue and looked them, just browsing through, and noticed that these weren't in there, and they went into a blind panic because everyone likes them because they're quite they're very good quality. And so we looked it up on the computer, and it's still current. And then they looked at the catalogue, couldn't find it, and made a big note to ring head office in Perth, and tell them. Yeah. So right, so try that again. Definitely getting a click out of it. So then I went back into town on the tram, which takes forever. I'm beginning to question this battery, whether it's got any usable juice in it. And there is a bit of rust on there, but we'll tighten those up in I don't think we'll tighten them up now. And then I went up Sydney Road and went into a record shop, which I haven't done for ages. I haven't even been into JB Hi-Fi for years. Not since I bought the television. $3,000 television. What was it? $750 cash back from Sony. Then another was on sale. There was a general sale on, so 25% off. And then there was a $500 gift card with it. So it worked out just over $1,000 or something like that for this very high-end at the time television. So I bought myself a coffee maker and a couple of other bits and pieces. Yeah. So let's do another capacitor. So this is 10 volts. So that's 50 at 10. So we need a 47. 47 at maybe 16 volts or something. So 47 at 16. I think that's the smallest you can get now, isn't it? The 16 volt in the 47s. And again, these are audio ones. So this is probably a bit of a waste of that, but yeah. And then so I went in there thinking that was the place where there was a lot of reel-to-reel tapes, which my friend had told me about. And the people that ran it said, no, we haven't stocked reel-to-reel tapes for maybe 10, 15 years because no one wanted them. And I'm not going to get that out. To use this. It's the wide stuff, isn't it? It's the narrow stuff. So this one. So they had on the counter, it was at a glass counter, and on a shelf underneath they had turntable belts. So, and they were good gold ring ones. I think, is it gold ring? I think it's gold ring. I thought they'd gone out of business, gold ring. Nope, they're still selling stuff. And then, so I bought a belt for a turntable, which I'm fixing for a client. And texted my friend, and he said, no, it's right up at Gaffney Street, up near Pentridge, the old Pentridge jail. So a fair way up Sydney Road, just before it turns into the Hume Highway. Anyway, I went up there and went into the place, and their cheapest second-hand LP, there wasn't some obscure label European music, was $28 for a what do you have on it for a reasonable copy. And the cover was pretty tatty, and a lot of them were $40-50 for second-hand records. Come on, bend up. Oh, this isn't on the camera, is it? So I was looking around. They sell hi-fi in inverted commas, because it's not really stereo equipment anyway. The sort of second-hand stuff and new old stock stuff from just general retailers, JB Hi-Fi sort of level of hi-fi or stereo equipment. And why isn't this coming out? So I bent over and stuck to the... Come on. Anyway, that is really hot now. Have to wait for that to cool down. Anyway, I find, 5 reel-to-reel machines. It was a beautiful condition A77 from probably the early 70s. I think the B77 came out in 76 or 77. So pre-B77, which is the ones I've got. I've got 2 of them and neither of them are working at the moment. And then they had a Akai 1702, I think it was, and they wanted $500 for that. There was no price on the Revox. Then they had another Crossfield head, Akai, probably from around about 1970 or something like that, judging by the control levers. And they wanted $475 for that. Then there was another European brand I hadn't heard of, and they wanted $600 for that. So I don't think so. But they'll sell it. And then I found the reel-to-reel tapes, and they were $20 for a 5-inch reel. We're waiting for it to cool down. So this is a 5-inch reel, and this is a 7-inch reel. So they wanted $20 for one of those of unknown quality, and they were sort of all what I would call scrap tapes. They were really crinkly, and there was bits of only half reels and all that sort of thing. They wanted $20 for those and $30 for that size, although not in metal reels. One of those. So that's a 7-inch reel. And this is a 5-inch. Then there was 3-inch as well. So, yeah. They were all just scrap tapes. And then they had 3 or 4 10.5-inch reels. I had sort of a photocopy of a DJ mix of David Bowie, or Bowie, as they say in England, and they wanted $70 for each of those, and the tape, and it was only sort of, the tape was only sort of half. This was a 10-inch reel. I'm not going to go and get one, but yeah, there was about that much tape on it, and the rest of it was empty. And they wanted $65 for a box with an empty metal reel in it. So yeah, I didn't speak to anybody in there, but I'm sure they would have negotiated a bit. But yeah, there wasn't anything of any interest to me anyway. I've got enough wrecked tapes at the moment. So we'll get this out. It's cooled down. Got to be really careful again with these, because the... Come on, cut. The traces come off on these. Something. Just look at them and they'll fall apart. And it's still not coming out. Is it glued in? Yeah, it's got the glue on it. So I caught the first bus down in the morning, and last week it was 10 minutes early, and this morning, or yesterday morning, it was 15 minutes late. And he drove like the devil. Obviously someone hadn't turned up, or the bus didn't start, or something like that. And is that the right ones? Is that? So this is a... No, it's a 33. What am I doing? Didn't I get the 47s? I thought I got the 47s. Where did I put the 47s? Ken Bruce has gone mad. Ken Bruce is going mad. 33. I'm sure I got the 47s. Oh well. Yeah, because I said they were 16 or something, didn't I? Oh, here they are. Okay, I'm sure I've got one out. Yep. Found it. Yeah, so he drove like the devil. And when he had to pick up someone, he slammed the brakes on, and we all flew forward, and yeah. But he made up probably 10 minutes of time, and by the time we got down, I mean, it's only a 10-minute trip anyway, but they dawdle because there's so much slack in the timetable. Anyway, we passed the bus coming up, the next bus. It's on the weekends, it's every 40 minutes. And on weekdays, Monday to Friday, it is every hour. which suits me fine. So I can catch the bus down and do my shopping and then come out, and the other bus, the next bus is going up. So it does a loop round. Is it going to... No, that's not sticking up too much, I don't think. Okay, let's try it again. Well, I can hear the scratching of the volume control now. And it's definitely making a click. Okay. Right. So, where are we at? We've got... this one here and that. Don't know what that is. Okay, we might leave that one till last. And that one's going to be a devil to get out. So we'll do these two over here. That one is, yep. This is pretty good actually to do, because you can actually see where the legs are going. So down there and there. Go. No? Or melt. Alright, Need to be careful on that one. Put a transistor on it. Now that again, that is really bent over, so I'll have to put the stuff on it. Yes, so I had dinner with friends last night and went down on the train. There was sort of I guess he was homeless. So he had sort of, but he didn't have too much stuff with him. And I got on the train, sat down, and a young woman sat not next to me because there was 3 seats, and there was the gap in the middle. And after a couple of stations, the guy leant over to the woman and asked her what her star sign was. And she initially said, "None of your business." And so he sort of raised his voice a little bit and asked me, and I ignored him at first. And then he insisted, so I just said, Scorpio. And anyway, he asked the woman again, and because I'd answered, she felt she had to, and she said Pisces. And he went, "Oh, wow, that'd make a great match. Are you two together?" And she just sort of went, "No." And so why isn't that coming up? That's getting too hot. And yeah, so he started egging us on and saying, "Well, if you don't know each other, you should," he said to me, "you should ask her out." And she just flatly said no. And then he said, "Well, what's wrong with him?" And she said, "Well, there's nothing wrong with him. He looks like a nice gentleman and blah, blah, blah." And then he said, "Well, why don't you ask him out?" And I just said, "Well, I live up in Ballarat." And she said, "Well, I live down in Sandringham." And I said, "Well, it's a bit far for us to travel." And he said, "Well, that shouldn't stop you." And these legs are so bent over. And so after a little bit like that, we got to Flinders Street. I hate it when people say Flinders Station, because there's a place called Flinders down on the Mornington Peninsula, and that had a station once. So it's just laziness. Okay, looking away, close my eyes. Does that come out? Yep. Still not doing it. Why? Why can't I? Yeah, so she eventually asked me to, Oh, no, she was staying in Sandringham. And she was going to Essendon. And when I left the place because I caught the tram up Sydney Road, which is always a bad idea at the best of times. So the traffic along there is shocking. But anyway, so come on. There we go. At least it's upright. I'm going to splash solder in my eyes, aren't I? I'm not careful. And yeah, I left the shop and I went to the station, and of course there's no trains, is there? And I've noticed coming down that there was a lot of track work being done. So, and most of the Western Suburbs lines were not operating. Anyway, she asked about getting to Essendon, and this is so difficult. It's got a wire sort of wrapped around it, and it's really tightly in there. And this has got red hot again. So this is probably, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, that was funny yesterday. Then, yeah, when I left Gaffney Street, the shop in Gaffney Street, and realised the train wasn't running, I went to the replacement bus stop, which is right next to the tram stop. So I thought, oh, I'll take the first one that came along, and luckily it was a bus, and there was virtually no one on it. And then it went probably 2 stops down. This is really difficult, this one, to get out. Come on. Why aren't you coming out? There we go. Right. Finally out. And yeah, it's another 30 at 10. So that's, yeah, that was that way, wasn't it? So positive into the centre of the radio. So I got back to the tram stop and the bus stop, replacement bus stop, and jumped on the bus, and only went, 3 stops down Sydney Road. Then it turned right and we went through, I don't know what suburb it is, never go over that way. And then it went down the Tullamarine Freeway and some strange route down to North Melbourne Station. And I got to... Then I jumped on a train. I just missed a train. And then there was another one 3 minutes later. And then so I caught that all right. Then now I had to, when I got to Flinders, when we got to Southern Cross again, it was a football train, of course, wasn't it? That's why they were running so many. Go down a bit. Yep. And then, so it became extremely crowded round to Flinders Street Station. And after, then I had to change to a Frankston train to go down to my friend's place. And so they were running trains every 2.5, 3 minutes. And then some of them, they were seemed to be going in a cycle, like Moorabbin, one train, then Chelsea, another train, and then full Frankston train after that. Then they go back to the Moorabbin train, then Chelsea train. When I got off at the station where my friend lives, I walked down the side of the railway line and literally 4 trains of, one, before I even got off the platform, the next train had come in, and then 4 trains passed me as I was walking down, probably 250 metres or something like that. It was just crazy in the number of trains going past. We're just not used to it. Okay. So finally that one's in. Okay. So making a hissing noise now, but it's still not very loud. And we've only got 2 more caps, or 3 more caps to go actually. So the next one we'll do is this one, which is another 30 at 10 volts. Well, that's only a 6.3 and this is a 10. Mucked up there. Need to put a 16 in. Okay, well, so there we go. I'm going to have to change those again. So I put 10s in instead of 16s. shouldn't matter in this sort of thing anyway. Okay. So, yeah. So after I've already told the story of the guy on the train going back to oh, excuse me, yawn there, back to Southern Cross. So that is probably going to be those two. Yeah, got back to Southern Cross, and I looked at the time, the board, and they were all coaches from 8:30. But then there was a train. I got to the station at 5 to 9 in the evening, and is that the right one? I feel it getting hot. And it said football special, and there was 2 for the Geelong line and 2 for the Ballarat line, and they were running like an hour late. And I saw one pulling out as I was going down the escalators, and come on, it's going to be another difficult one. I think it is. I feel like getting hot, but I'm not sure that that's the right. Yeah, it's definitely getting hot. And well, that one is out. Actually move that at all, probably not. That might be the resistor. That's probably the resistor. So it'll be up there on the wire, I think. So we're doing down here, and we've got this one here. Anyway, I went down to the platform and it said 7 minutes. Waited half an hour. Then the train came in and there was absolutely no one on it going back up. So they'd all gone off to another train or another. They caught the earlier train, which was running an hour late anyway. And then the Yeah, so it was a 6-carriage train and there was virtually no one on it. And I got here about, what time was it? About 10:45 or something like that. And I was going to walk home. And so I started to walk because it was quite a warm, well, it wasn't warm, that's for sure. But it wasn't too bad. The wind had died down substantially and it wasn't raining or anything like that. So I thought, I'm not spending $50 on a taxi or an Uber. So I started to walk home, and I walked past a friend's place up here, and she rocked up behind me in her car, didn't she? So I got a lift most of the way home. So that was all right. Yeah, I just can't see which one it is. So there's 5 connections very close together. Still not coming up. Maybe that'll do it. Just have a get this over. I don't know whether you can, whether this will actually do anything. No, it's too distorted, isn't it? Sort of all right. Might set this up. So I don't have a microscope, and I do use this occasionally. So there's that. No. Wonder if, looking on the monitor up here, just wonder if, there it is, but it's not really doing anything, is it? It's too much of an angle down that way. That's this. So going to, there we go. Try that. I'll see if I can. It's not really doing anything, is it? It's touching the glass or the... No. Someone have a look under there anyway. So let's have a... not really any bigger, is it? Interesting. I want to have a look under here myself. And it's fine for me, but they're not very good on the camera. So, yeah. It's got to be used. Yeah, there's all solder underneath the leads. Yeah, what they've done is sort of put the solder on, then bent it over the solder, and then soldered it again. Let's try this. Get my glasses out the way. No, it's not that one. Not that one either. It's got to be this one. And that's the resistor. That one there. I don't... You coming out? It's going to be one of those. It's right. Oh no, it's not. It's over there, is it? So those two. Am I nowhere near it? That's got to be nothing there. Maybe that is it. Well, yep, that's it. There's nothing there. So is it that one and that one? It's definitely that one. How can something so simple be so difficult? That is definitely that one. Where's the other one? So that lead there, and the other one. It's over there somewhere, where I was in the first place. So I'll take this off. Or maybe it's underneath that. Okay. Try under there then. Take this wire off if we can. So underneath there, yeah. Bet you it's underneath there. What a nuisance. Okay. Yep, that is it. It's hot again. Oh, rush. Can we get it out now? So our positive faces that way. Yes, finally. And yep, 30 at 10. So I'll put a 16 in this time instead of a 6.3. So positive. Now I can't remember which way it was. positive in, wasn't it? Come on. That's it. Okay. Doesn't hurt anyway to resolder stuff. I can already see quite a few, or I could see quite a few cracked joints and things. It is on the same trace. That one. There. Oh, stop joining up. Good. Right. Oh, bugger. Where did that wire go? Now that I've done that. I think I went onto there. Yep. I don't know whether they should be joined up or not. Ooh. Definitely much louder. You can hear. Okay. So I'll assume that's doing, put these in the right way. Now, this one up here, I think, that is right in line with the center of that. And it's a bit further down. It's going to be here. doesn't it? This is going to be another fiddly one. So definitely in line with that. Okay. Aha. Yes, I am messing around with little transistor radio, Dallas. With the mono earpiece and everything like that. Yeah. Yes. Yes. We do get macca on Sunday mornings up here. No talk back up here during the weekend. No, I'm down in Victoria, so we don't get those people down here. Oh, good. You're enjoying it. Thank you very much. This is probably a very small thing to see on the camera, but this is as far in as the camera will zoom. Yeah. Normally they just come straight off these, but you've got to be so careful. You don't want to put too much heat on the board because the traces come off and then you're in real trouble. So we'll try down here. I mean, I can see reasonably well without my glasses on. So we'll try down here and see if we can get it to fall out. So I've no idea. So the positive is going to the tuning gang. I'll mark that because this is going to be a fiddle and I'll forget where it has to fall out. So I won't be able to grab it. So positive this way. The transistor there. So it could be one of those three. Okay. Try this one first. And that's coming out of that one. Yeah, there's something there, and so it can't be that one, it has to be this one. Yeah. Okay, where's my long nose pliers? My glasses on so I can see in the drawer. There we go. Don't get caught under that cord. Poo. Really need 3 hands for this. That's definitely it. And can't see again. Trying not to burn the wires and the case. So, yeah, I'll have to do. Okay, I'll try your suggestion. I mean, it does work, and I do this sometimes. It's definitely that one. Right, we'll try bending this up a little bit. So we've got the solder underneath it. Again, right, that's up. Yeah. And I don't have any liquid flux. I've just got the paste at the moment. The trick is to bend the leads up away from the trace, and then, yeah, there's solder just flowing across from other places. And then it fills in underneath where you want it to be. Clear. Come on. Wasn't that? That is worse than it was when it started. What's going on? Come on. Yeah, that is not going to, it's not budging. There's just solder flowing in from other places all the time. So let's see if we can lift it up a bit. Yes, it does, but it's not going to do very much here. So we'll chop this one off. We definitely know this is one of them. And then just taking a couple of mils off the end of it often allow things to get in there. So I know this, no, you're not going to like this, but I'm just going to do this. It should work. And I can see the hole and everything like that. It's just a matter of getting this out. Come on. Getting some of it, but not. Still not doing it. I guess it's 70-year-old solder too. Come on. I'm certain that's it. Well, one of them's out. I wonder if this is it here. No. Yep. So I was on the right things, but it's just, yeah, be so careful. I'm still stuck on there. Okay, that one's out and the other one's out too, so should better grab. Come on. Why aren't you coming out? See the pin moving, the lead moving, but it's not. I don't want to. This is ridiculous. Come on. Right. So that one is well and truly dead, but it's still in there. One hole was completely clear. So it's further over this way. Is it one in there? Bet you it's in there. Okay. Right. Yeah, that's it. I was on the wrong pin, wasn't I, or the wrong lead? Right. So, what was it? Was a 10 at 6 point, yeah, 10 at 6. 10 at 6.3. What's the 47s? These are 33, I think, aren't they? 33. What do I do with those 10 at 16 or 6? That's not them. 25s. These are them, isn't it? 10 at 16. Put a small one in there, I think. At 16. Yes. These are tiny, these ones. So negative Now getting that down into there, that is going to be a problem. Maybe I should use the bigger one. Jesus. Find a pair of tweezers. These are going to work. So that's negative there. Far apart. I'm about to give up. There's very little room in there. In fact, just drop straight in. As long as it doesn't fall out before we can solder it. So sit. Come on, melt. Just touch up a couple of other traces there. I always close my eyes and look away when I chop these, so those little tiny pieces fly up everywhere. Right, let's try it again. We've only got one more to do, and it's that horrible one. And wish I knew what it was before I take it out. I can't see any markings on it other than the, hopefully that's, well, it won't be all right. It's K3 and it's axial. Right. Jeez, this has even got ball bearings in there. It's definitely working. Okay. I'll just see if our that's fine.
Just not that much golf. Just
shape and a secret. You know, as a sculptor, you see things, so you. Oh my gosh.
I'm seeing if the oscillator's working. And it's a bit difficult because we've got so many lights on.
absolute heat ton of them.
Roos, they're not the greatest.
Doesn't sound like we've got an oscillator.
Drive went fishing.
Proficient.
No. Oh yeah. Not very strong, but it is there. I mean, that should be dead quiet. Okay. Yes, it is a very nice radio, that. It's so sensitive and picks up a lot of stations up here. In fact, it's one of the better radios I've got. HMV made excellent radios. Not so good on the TVs, but excellent radios. So, wish I had a schematic for this and I could work out what that capacitor is. I really don't want to take it out unless I know what value it is. It's just got the serial number on it and a plus. Oh, hang on. No, it's a 1. This is still on, isn't it? So it's a 1, probably 1 at 50 or something. Right down in there. Yeah, it's a 1. So I've got plenty of 1s. Okay. So before I start on that, I'm going to have a sip of my drink and a couple of biscuits, because I've been going for 2.5 hours without a break. Yeah, there's no shortwave anymore that you can really pick up. You can pick up Radio New Zealand, and there's a very low powered transmitter in Bendigo, which I can pick up reasonably well. But other than that, unless you speak Chinese and want to know all their propaganda, no, there's no shortwave left. Okay. Okay, I'm going to skip to the loo and I'll be back. So I'll just put this on. I didn't turn the microphones on, did I? Great. Oh well. Sorry about that, if you're still around. Right, so I'll turn off the email in case I slip with it. You have to tell me if there's no sound. Right. Oh. And okay, so are you still there? Yeah. Okay. I don't know what happened then. Everything went blank on the screen, but it still seems to be going out live. Okay. So let's open a new window. There's a few strange things happening to YouTube lately. They're mucking around with it in a way I don't like. When I did the post this morning, it wouldn't let me add a picture. It either had the picture or had the text. So, and I've done post with pictures lots of times before. And okay. So we'll go to YouTube again and we'll have a look. Oh, they already turned it off, have they? Yeah. So maybe, I think it was in June, wasn't it? Yeah, so let's have a look. Where's Dave? Can't be right down the bottom, can he? Now, what am I doing here? Okay, we'll do Tony this week. Now, Tony, what's this silly thumbnail? Tony is sort of a amateur and a aficionado of different test equipment. So his videos are really quite good. He's from the Netherlands. Not sure where in the Netherlands, but yeah, so he does all these things like this endoscope. Isn't that? I'm sure that's been up since a few days ago. Then he's done the aerial testing and power supply teardowns, thermal cameras, and things like that. So acoustic imager, power dividers, yeah, all sorts of electronic stuff. So yeah, so this multimeter here, yeah, so it does a combination of test gear, analytical gear like this thermal imager, amateur radio stuff, yeah, and all this sort of thing. So yeah, notice he hasn't got Australian. He's got quite a few Australian viewers. So he used to do Fluke Friday, where he would get lots of Fluke gear and compare it. I think he's got virtually every Fluke multimeter. So yeah, he's been going for quite a while. I think he's got a deal with a shop, and he'll test some gear, but he buys a lot of gear himself. So yeah. So he's been going, how long? So it's been going at least 6 years. Yeah, so this is an amateur radio, etc. How many viewers does he have, or subscribers? So he's got 17,500 subscribers, so he's doing quite well. Yeah, but of course he's in Europe. He's doing the videos in English. So yeah, and we'll just have a squeeze at what Graham's doing tonight. Nothing up yet. So that was, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to have a bit of a sleep because I'm very, very tired. And yeah, sorry about the lack of sound. That was my fault. I turned off the microphones and forgot to turn them back on again when I came back in the room. Should have just left them switched on. Okay, so thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. And thanks to Dallas for keeping me amused But obviously he gave up when the sound disappeared. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to end it here. And why? Yeah. So this is just the live thing. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, this is still live. Okay. Yeah, they change things all the time on YouTube, and they sort of tell you, but they don't. At least it seems that we can now do the bigger thumbnails, which they said we could do 12 months ago. Anyway, I don't know how to stop this. Can't stop it from here, can I? I have to stop it from in here. Okay, so I'll bid you adios, and hopefully you can come back next week for another radio. As I said, I'm not doing the tape recorder on the stream because there's nothing to see. It's a sea of capacitors in there on the board, but they're all sort of jammed down between the yeah, they're just not. Sorry about that, I'm yawning, so I must be tired. I've been up since 5:30 this morning, and I didn't get to sleep till about 12:30. Yeah, so you could see the solder side of the board, or you can see it, and I thought you'd be able to see it down through the top, through the back of the machine, but it's just a real spaghetti of wires, etc. down there. So yeah, I had to give up on that pretty quickly. Yeah, so that little radio I'll get working. I thought it worked, but obviously it's not. Well, we've improved it somewhat with those capacitors, but in fact, I'm trying to stay awake till 11 o'clock. It's 9:15 here, and I'll watch Graham for half an hour, but yeah. So I might do a bit of a capacitor bingo on these caps we've just taken out, and just see how absolutely rubbish they are. So I've just turned on the other microphones, which I should have done ages ago, but okay, Sarah, whatever will be, will be. So let's have a look at a couple of these. I think these were the ones out of the... Oh no, these are the ones out of the radio. I've got the other ones down here from the tape recorder I am doing. Is that clear? No. I'll bring it up to the camera. That's a bit... short. Ah, 105 and 2 ohms. That is something shocking. And so that's more than twice its value. So this is a 31. Well, it's not 2, that's for sure. Maybe it is. Yep, 2 2.8 microfarads and greater than 40 on ohms. So that one is completely stuffed. This is the one. So this is 1 microfarad. And this one is open circuit. Yep. Yeah. I'm not quite sure how low it goes, this meter. So it could be the meter, it could be the capacitor. In fact, so where did I put the ones? Here. So let's measure this one. And we'll see if it does measure these. Yep. 0.9. So this one is a 10. And open circuit. Again, this one is completely stuffed. And there's 30. And this one is 56, but it is 28 ohms. So that has completely had it as well. So yeah, all the capacitors were bad in this radio. Yeah, that one. It's the one we destroyed. Now, just as a matter of interest, all the ones I did on the tape recorder, 10 at 25 volts. So we'll measure these. Just out of curiosity, I don't think they're going to be as bad, but they might be. 16, well, 17, close enough. ESR is quite low. Open circuit again. Yeah, these Panasonic caps have not stood the test of time, that's for sure. $16 again. So that's almost twice what it should be. 16 again. $17. Yeah. So definitely needs a recap, that tape recorder. That's sounding okay. It is sort of making electrical shorting noises and things. Okay. So, yeah. I'm going to cut it off and go and have a bit of a rest or a bit of a snooze for half an hour, and then I'll watch Graham, and then I'll go to bed. It's pretty cold. It's not it's about 9-10 degrees outside, I think. Yeah. But it's sort of that real humid cold where it sort of gets into your bones. It's been like that all day. It's just sort of this low, foggy cloud hanging over. But it hasn't rained as they said it would. Okay. So, good night, and I hope to you come back next week.